All right, everybody. Paul Stecewycz with the Weeks Aircraft here. We're going to do a little talk on another project we're working on. I've done a couple of videos on the Messerschmitt 108 or the BF 108, which we are not actually working full-time on until we finish this particular airplane, which is another German design. This is the Stieglitz Focke Wulf FW-44. Basically a 1930s design German aircraft that was built as a sport trainer. Of course, later on it was pressed into the military as a training aircraft. Basically kind of the German equivalent to the American Stearman. Two-place open cockpit biplane. And we've had this airplane in the collection for quite a number of years. The airplane actually came out of South America, just like the Messerschmitt 108. And this particular airplane was actually built in Argentina. There was a lot of companies that built this aircraft during the war. There was such a popular aircraft that they couldn't keep up with production, and there was a lot of contracts that were done from other companies that actually built the airplane. So this was a South American built aircraft. I think it spent all of its life there. Mr. Weeks obtained the aircraft a number of years ago. It was restored and sent to England. Personal Plane Services did the aircraft there. At that point, it was gone through. The aircraft was covered in linen at the time. It came back to us. We assembled the airplane. I don't even know if we flew the aircraft. I'm not sure. I think we did some runs. I don't know if we flew it, but eventually the fabric went bad. It went back pretty quick. It went rotten. So at that point we disassembled the aircraft and placed it in storage for a little while. And then we sent it to the same gentleman that covered the Bucher Youngmeister that we talked about, Kim, up in north of Orlando. And he decided to cover the airplane in Dacron. We made the decision to cover it in Dacron. Prior to that, though, we cleaned up the steel frame. It's a steel tube fuselage. That's a lot of work. It's like, to me, it's almost good enough just to scuff it. You know, all the different angles, you have to keep flipping it because you blast, you can't see what you're doing, and you have to stop and you have to flip it and see where you missed. We repainted that, sent it to Kim, and he did a cover job on the aircraft, wings, fuselage, tail group. Did a beautiful job, just like he did on the Bucher Youngmeister. And that's basically how you see the airplane here, all covered and ready to go. So basically, it's a similar project to the Bucher, in that all we have to do is reassemble the aircraft and fly it. Basically, what I'm working on is hoses. All the hoses had to be changed. 10 years is kind of the limit on an aircraft hose. The airplane doesn't have any of its original hoses. They've all been changed and turned over to a different system. This is actually a system that I put in the airplane called ATEC. It's a German company that makes a fluid transfer system for automobiles and racing cars. So basically the whole airplane's been converted to that, which is a good modern system that holds up well. So those hoses have been made. I'm starting to place those back into the airplane. Oil tank and all that has been taken out and checked. Instrument panel, all the instruments were pretty rough looking in this airplane, so we sent those off for overhaul. Those are due back soon from Instrument Pro. Painted the instrument panel, so that's ready to go in. And so we're making some slow progress here. As soon as all that comes together, we'll start putting all that back in. We want to do the hoses and tanks and the instruments with the airplane sitting as it is now, because it's much easier to work on it when it's low and level. Once that's finished, we'll attach the landing gear, which has also been rebuilt. And then from there, the tail group And then at that point, of course, we'll put the engine on, and at that point we'll have to move it outside to assemble it. This airplane does not have a center section. It's actually 4 wing panels that are bolted together, and we can't do that here in the shop because I believe at that point it is too big to skate out of the shop. The Focke Youngmeister was small enough, but I don't believe this airplane would be able to get through the door, so we'll have to assemble it into the south hangar. So hopefully we'll get this airplane get going here. It's been kind of slow lately. I've been kind of off on some other projects, but I want to get this airplane finished so we can go full-time on the BF-108. So stay tuned and we'll give you some updates on the Stieglitz, and hopefully we're also going to fly the Focke Youngmeister soon.